A billionaire was about to lose a deal worth millions. Why? Because his Ferrari wouldn't start. But then, a poor boy fixed it with just a roll of duct tape. "Stop! Don't touch that car!" The security guard's voice cut through the glass-walled garage like a blade, but it was already too late. A skinny teenage boy, wearing worn-out jeans and a faded hoodie, had already leaned over the open hood of a bright red Ferrari. His hands moved delicately, yet confidently, into the engine of a machine worth more than he had ever dared to dream. The room froze. "What are you doing?" the billionaire snapped, his voice sharp with anger. "That's a one-of-a-kind Ferrari, not some junk you can play with." A few engineers stepped back, folding their arms, eyes darting between the boy and the car, as if waiting for disaster to strike. But the boy didn't flinch. No fear, no panic, just focus. Slowly, calmly, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a cheap roll of duct tape. Some people chuckled. One engineer whispered, "This kid's about to embarrass himself." But the boy didn't react, because in his mind, he had already solved the problem. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like you didn't belong there? Like everyone had already decided who you were before you even spoke a word? What if the only thing standing between you and success was one chance that nobody was willing to give you? This wasn't just any car. A limited edition Ferrari, custom-built, hand-assembled in Italy, worth over $1 million. And right now, it was completely dead. No ignition, no sound, nothing. The billionaire had tried everything. Top engineers had flown in from Italy, advanced diagnostics hooked up, 3 full days of testing. Fuel system? Perfect. Battery? Brand new. Electronics? Fully functional. Everything indicated it should work, but it didn't. And the timing couldn't have been worse. In less than an hour, a high-stakes meeting awaited, a deal worth tens of millions. This Ferrari wasn't just transportation, it was a statement, a symbol of power, precision, and control. Without it, the deal would crumble, and so would his reputation. Standing quietly in the corner of the luxury garage was a woman in a simple uniform, a cleaner, invisible to almost everyone. Beside her stood her son, Ethan, silent, observing everything. While engineers argued, blamed systems, and checked screens, Ethan didn't speak. He just watched, carefully, as if he wasn't just looking at the engine, but listening to it. The subtle hum, the vibrations, the mechanical heartbeat. Ethan hadn't learned from books, he had learned from life. His father was a mechanic, poor but brilliant in ways no degree could measure. "Machines talk," his father used to say. "You just have to learn how to listen." At first, Ethan didn't understand, but over time, he noticed tiny vibrations, the faintest sounds, patterns. Then, one day, everything changed. A late-night call, an accident. His father was gone, just like that. No warning, no goodbye. From that moment on, Ethan stopped being just a kid. He started fixing anything he could find. Broken fans, old radios, scrap engines, anything. Not because he wanted to, but because he had no other choice. No tools, no money, no guidance, just memory and instinct. Back in the present, "I'm done," the billionaire shouted, slamming his hand on the workbench. "Everyone out." Silence filled the room. No one moved. Then, suddenly, a quiet voice cut through. "Sir, I think I can fix it." All heads turned, and then laughter erupted. "You? This is a Ferrari, not a toy. Step back, kid, before you break something." The billionaire stared at him, cold, unimpressed. "You have 1 minute, one mistake, and you're out." Ethan nodded. No argument,
Every
no fear,
step
and walked toward the
all
car.
eyes locked on him. He reached the Ferrari, opened the hood fully, but instead of grabbing tools, he paused, closed his eyes. The room shifted uncomfortably. "What is he doing?" someone whispered. Ethan placed his hand gently on the engine, feeling, listening, breathing slowly. Then he spoke. "It's not the fuel." A few engineers rolled their eyes. "It's not electrical either." Irritation grew. Ethan leaned closer, focused. "It's airflow." One engineer laughed out loud. Ridiculous, they thought, but Ethan didn't respond. He already knew. He pointed toward a small rubber line, hidden, almost invisible. "This line, it's leaking." The lead engineer shook his head immediately. "We checked everything." Ethan looked straight at him. "You checked it, but you didn't feel it." There it was, a tiny crack, barely noticeable, but enough to disable the entire system. Ethan pulled out the duct tape, wrapped it carefully, tight, precise, like he had done this his whole life. Everyone watched. No laughter now, only curiosity. Ethan stepped back. "Start it." The billionaire hesitated, then slowly turned the key. 1 second, 2 seconds. Silence. Then the engine roared to life. The Ferrari came alive, powerful, perfect. The sound filled the garage. Everyone was speechless. The billionaire stepped out, walked toward Ethan, a completely different expression on his face. "How did you know?" Ethan looked at his mother, then back at him. "Because we never had money to replace things," he said. "We had to fix everything." He paused, and when life doesn't give you the right tools, you learn to think differently. The room went silent, but this time it was respect. The next day, headlines exploded everywhere. "Maid's son fixes Ferrari with tape." Ethan went viral, millions of views, offers poured in, top companies, engineering schools, interviews. The same engineers who laughed before now stood quietly. One finally said, "We were wrong." The billionaire shook his head. "No, we just didn't see his value." Years later, a bright workshop filled with kids from underprivileged backgrounds, learning, building, fixing machines. At the center stood Ethan, confident but still humble. "Remember this," he said. "Machines can be expensive, but understanding them isn't." He smiled. "All it takes is curiosity and courage." Every kid watched him with admiration. Some tinkered with small motors, others with bicycles, absorbing lessons they had never imagined. The walls displayed sketches, engine blueprints, and inspirational quotes from great engineers, a place where potential mattered more than money. Ethan walked among them, guiding, mentoring, showing that opportunity is about curiosity and persistence, not privilege. Never let your background define your future, because real talent isn't built by money, it's built by mindset. So tell me honestly, if you had talent but nobody gave you a chance, would you create your own opportunity? If you love stories like this, like, subscribe, and comment below. What hidden talent do you carry that the world hasn't seen yet?